Call 911 hotline. What happens? They dehumanize you. They take the victim out of it and make a profit. They send us to mental health places. When we are abused, we need help, and we're ignored. And 988 is just one of hundreds of numbers that I have been sent to. All the same. When you try to tell people about your abuse as an at-risk adult, they want to talk over you. You go to these friends you're supposed to go to and they don't do anything. You go to the cops and they don't do anything. They send you to mental health. You go to mental health and they don't do anything. But people to threaten to kill me and my family over and over again. And when they hurt me to the point that I'm begging for people to kill me, I'm not asking for help anymore. I'm asking for death. My friends didn't try to be understanding of that. They capitalized on it. Where did all of my money go? To people who lied to me about the law and lied to me about their intent, lied to me about their resources, lied to me about their motives. Clearview Behavioral Health, Johnstown, Colorado. Look what happened to that place. Look at Officer Waylon Lolatai at Boulder, Colorado, and all the money he cost. Take a look at victims like Zaid Atkinson, Samuel Leon Lawrence IV, Michelle Rodriguez, Kelly Clark. These were all victims of Waylon Lolatai after I was, but you guys didn't want to hear that. You didn't want to hear that all they got to do is get me alone. They can do whatever they want. I needed the ability to record it, and I needed a friend or family member there to stick up for me when they tried to talk down over me. But none of you cared. Literally none of you cared. When you send us to these places alone, when we're bullied, they don't want to do their jobs. They're fucking lazy, and they know that we don't matter. None of you cared to go in with us. Literally none of you ever tried to actually go in with me. Miss Kayla Trujillo, when she actually tried to go in with me, she made sure to waste the entire day playing on a fucking word game. And we showed up there after they were closed. They wanted us to make an appointment, but Miss Kayla wouldn't make an appointment with me. She said, well, you just set an appointment up. I'm like, you said that we got to work around your schedule. Let me know when you have a day off so that we can do that. Please make the call with me. No, I have to do it all myself. And that's the thing, is that when you call 988, they push you to commit suicide. They know you don't have any friends or family members, or you wouldn't be calling them. I recorded 10 calls to 988 yesterday. You can see why so many people commit suicide after calling 988. You can see how slander forces people to do desperate things. You also get to see, although I can barely function, I can function well enough to get Amy, Kalina Kingery's kids safe, even if I have to break the law. I tried to go into the law first. I tried doing it anonymously. That didn't fucking work. I call it live on fucking YouTube. Well, that didn't fucking work. Did that 3 times. Grand total of 6 phone calls. Every time she fucking beat on them goddamn kids, what did I do? I fucking called the cops. Did it 3 times anonymously and 3 times non-anonymously before I broke the fucking law. Hell no, I don't care if she's my best friend of 20 fucking years. You don't fucking beat on kids. You don't beat on kids. Being drunk is not a valid excuse. You don't beat on kids. You don't beat on kids. Getting all mentally hopped up watching the Bates Motel doesn't make it okay. Missing your own sons doesn't make it okay. You do not get to beat on kids. See, Rihanna was supposed to be gonna help me, right? And some help that was. On the bright side, I recorded Rihanna Ingersoll before she died. I got multiple recordings with her about the situation, where she admitted she only lied because she was angry. I'm supposed to just forgive it. Where most of my predators, their sin is that they wouldn't forgive me for telling the truth. They just couldn't let it go. And so they had to slander my name. Making fake account after fake account. I made 2 fake accounts before Natalie died. One of them to beg for help. The other one to destroy my Facebook account so that nobody would target Natalie Bollinger when I killed myself over all that abuse. It was all because some heroin addict got busted by her mom on my birthday, October 18th, 2016. She couldn't accept that I didn't want a bigger relationship. Her and her sister were fighting over a boy. So, Mandy Singer, she read every message between me and Natalie Bollinger. And she said, you know what, Sean, she was in love with you. You're fucking stupid. She's not the only one that told me that after reading them. Mandy Singer is on my channel. She's not dead, but she is very much in danger right now because of the situation. And she did voice that. And like many poor people who are getting government help, there are so many stipulations and regulations with that. You aren't allowed to help your friends, and then they pretend that you didn't try, or that they didn't try. No, that's not true. Christine Bouhey, she was gonna help me. Why didn't she? They gave her housing, and she was afraid of losing her housing. She didn't care if fucking people killed me. She didn't care if people killed my family. She didn't care if I committed suicide. She didn't care that she was committing felonies by destroying all that evidence. She didn't care because she was selfish and a druggie, just like Natalie Bollinger and Alicia Bollinger. Sure, they said they cared, but what did they show? Their actions showed that their words were bullshit. Meanwhile, that kind of abuse, especially when it's picked up by true crime places, that's more than just nationwide. People will hurt you over that. That's not a if, but when. How frequently, how often, and why? What do your friends do while that's going on? They look the other way. Especially when you're a male, especially when you're homeless, especially when you're a good man. The better a person you are, the more likely you are to become the scapegoat of somebody else's bullshit, because they always expect you to forgive them. You'll forgive them. You're Sean David Schwartz. You forgive everybody for everything. Of course, he's the one who's going to take the fall. Saint Sean the thirstiest. Fucking assholes. I'm no goddamn saint. You fuck with my family, I speak up. I'll curse. I'll shout. I'll yell at the top of my lungs if I fucking have to. But that's not the first thing I do. You have no idea how much hell these people put me through for an entire year before Natalie died. And still to this day, there's plenty of evidence that shows that I'm the victim, not Natalie. Natalie is the victim of her choices. And much like Harley Richmond and Dallas Richmond and Brenda Dickinson, Laura Nelson, David Nelson, Brianna Cook, Rod Wright, all these people, every one of them had the opportunity to do the right thing. How many people admitted that they were wrong? Actually tried to make amends? Why is it that I haven't given out Mariah Johnson's number? Why is it, despite the fact that I have court paperwork with her and she stabbed me in the back, did horrible things? Why is it that I don't release that information? Because it's not mine to release. It's not mine to give away. I got what I needed out of that situation by getting Mandy Singer to speak up. But it doesn't matter what abuse I go through over this. 988 doesn't care. My friends don't care. You know what I had to do to get my friends' attention so they'd stop ignoring me? Oh, you're negative, you're negative. I'm being fucking abused. Yes, the abuse against me that resulted in everything in my life being taken away started off with a rumor in Virginia from a drug addict named Natalie Marie Bollinger. And then her predators want to get her all whipped up into a frenzy. Oh, you need to stay away from people like that. Oh, he's a hobo. He's probably mentally ill. You know, he's probably on fucking drugs. Who was on drugs? Look. You look at all my hospital paperwork. How many of them take a police officer's word instead of taking a drug test? There's only one hospital that took a drug test. No matter how many times I begged them to take a drug test, please take a drug test. Please give me a whiz quiz. Even Candace Bonderon. I went to the mandated reporters and I went alone. Because none of my friends or family cared. And then you call 988 and they try to push you to suicide. They just want to rush you out of it when you've been talking too long. They want you to shut up. They don't want to hear your fucking story. Here's some phone numbers, go the fuck away. Here are some phone numbers, go away. They're literally just telling you to stick it in your face and pull the trigger. You make them feel like they're not important. Oh, they're comforting, and no, the fuck they're not. They are so rude and disrespectful, with no regard for the human being that they're talking to. They're trying to follow a ledger that literally only victimizes the victims. You go to a mandated reporter as an at-risk adult. You say, hey, I'm being abused. I can't defend myself. All they care about is whether or not you're trying to kill yourself. They call it the suicide and crisis line. They don't give a fuck about crisis. They want you to say you're suicidal so they can lock you up. That's it. That is literally the only thing that happens. That's all they do. Mandated reporters, my ass. If it's a pretty white girl in a house with a husband who's with her and she's abused to the point that she wants her life to fucking end, her husband, if he's any kind of a human being at all, will help her to turn that in. But a homeless person on the streets, they're going to get victimized by the police. The police don't fucking care. They don't want to waste their money. They would shoot us if they fucking could. By the way, they do. At a much higher rate than any other population in the country. The homeless have 1/120th the population size of black people in America. Black people account for 24% of those killed by police last year, up from 22% in 2019. And the homeless account for 60% of those killed by police last year, up from 49% in 2019. In 2019, if the homeless population had the same population size as black people, and the police shot them at the same rate they're shooting them today, there would be 48,000 homeless people that had been shot. 48,000. That's approximately 1/10 of the homeless population at the time. It was almost 500,000. Now it's almost 600,000. It's killing us. We call 988 for help. And they victimize us. Make us feel like we are nothing. Hang the phone up on us because we don't matter. Send us to someone else. Here's numbers to go to. They're literally sending me to mandated reporters that I'm trying to turn in. These mandated reporters not doing their jobs for us because we're not people. They find out you're homeless or trying to turn in police, and they literally send out the police officers you're trying to turn in. They force you to go to those police officers as an at-risk and disabled adult who is being victimized by these very individuals, and you want to send us to them? This is worse than rape. Would you send a rape victim to their rapist to turn their rapist in? What the fuck is wrong with you, 988? How many people have committed suicide specifically because 988 is so inhumane towards victims? We're abused and neglected so severely that we want our lives to end. And instead of ending our lives, we reach out to all of these places they send us to that are supposed to help us stop abuse, and they don't. They set up every scenario so magically you have to come back next week like it's a fucking television series in the 1980s. Fuck. Committing Medicare and Medicaid fraud against the mentally ill nationwide. Let me tell you something. There's a reason most of these people claim that they only know how to deal with the elderly or children. This is recorded with the people at Health and Human Services. What was that lady's name? Adelaide, something. Alice. Fuck. I recorded all these places that I'm supposed to go to for help. Not listening, not trying to understand. Listen to the victim, not talk over them. Not go out of your way to try to entrap them with, are you feeling like hurting yourself or someone else? Well, call someone else then. What does that teach you? If you tell them that you want your life to end because people are hurting you and harming you and nobody will listen, and they take you to a hospital, you don't need a fucking hospital. You need a friend or family member who actually cares, not one who's going to blow you off and treat you like you're retarded. You get to see how going to my predators for help because I'm told to results in me being abused by those places. Them treating me like I'm some fucking crazy who's lying to them about being sent to them. Well, they lie to me about what the law says and send me to somebody else. Nobody's job. And then there's 988. Just like everybody else, they do the exact same job. None of them help the victim. They're all call agencies. They all send you to someone else whose job it is not. They send you to another call agency who sends you to another call agency who sends you to another call agency who sends police who say they can't investigate themselves. You have to go to another agency. Or they refuse to send the people that you're requesting, increasing the safety risks. And they send out the people who are victimizing you. Meanwhile, if you've got communication disabilities, and the first thing that you forget when you're in a state of crisis is names and numbers, you remember the scenario. You remember what happened. You don't remember the names. You don't remember the numbers. And a lot of times they won't give it to you. They'll give you an attitude for asking for it. And we've got recording after recording of these fucking mandated reporters going out of their way to ignore it. To ignore my disabilities. To not do their jobs. To investigate crimes against me. And to tell me I have to do their jobs when I don't have the resources to do so. And then what do they spend their resources doing? Oh, we don't have the resources. I get to see them spending resources. Oh, God. Oh, there's a lot of wax in there. Now I record it and I post it. Instead of killing myself, I post it. This is how it is when you have to go in alone and you're in a state of crisis already. I'm scared 24/7 because of the abuse that I endure out here. And because calling these agencies alone just gets sent me in a fucking circle. They're not following the law, they're victimizing the victims. When you're abused to the point that you want your life to end, but instead of ending your life, you try to, one more time, turn in your predators. Turn in the crisis. They don't care about the crisis. They care if they can take you to the hospital and get all sorts of money because there's money for that. There's so much money apportioned for that. Millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars apportioned for that. That money doesn't go to help out with housing. It goes to paying a bunch of wages to people who aren't going to do their jobs. It goes to paying for jails. It goes to having members of the board who are each earning $100,000 a year or more. None of these mandated reporters are doing their jobs. They're literally ignoring the victim. See, when an at-risk or disabled adult comes to them about abuse, there's a protocol that they're supposed to follow. If they don't follow this protocol, it puts the victim at risk, and telling the victim to go to their predator is definitely one of those things. When it came to Natalie Bollinger ending up dead because officers did not do their jobs, did not care to do their jobs, made stupid assumptions, and destroyed the wrong person's fucking life, nobody cared. You know what happens if Jai Rogers and Detective Peterson end up going to prison for the crimes they did in fact commit against me? Joseph Michael Lopez can get a review. He might even be released. Not likely, though. He could probably get it dropped to manslaughter easy enough. There's a lot invested in this, because see, here's the thing. With as many officers as lied to me and got busted doing so, we're talking about a lot of criminal cases. My public pretenders took advantage of my vulnerabilities. The Bollinger family took advantage of my vulnerabilities. The public took advantage of my vulnerabilities. Joan Hanson took advantage of my vulnerabilities. So did Rose M. Kelly. So did Danica Garner. Jai Rogers and Detective Peterson weren't the only officers by a long shot. There was also Detective Erica and her partner, Detective Mark Peterson. No, Detective Mark Hyatt, I think is what it was. Here in Tillamook, it's just like everywhere else. I'm told, oh, well, you can turn it in from anywhere, and then I travel elsewhere, and there's no assistance. There's no fucking assistance. They say, we can't do anything. You're in the wrong jurisdiction. See, I need help turning in my predators. Instead, you let it be their word versus mine, and they automatically win, and they get to harm me over and over and over again until I leave. Assisted suicide needs to be legal. If you're going to have a number like 988 that is literally going to have people who are taught and trained to push victims to commit suicide, you need to put a place for those people to commit suicide, that it's not a big fucking mess their kids or wives or families are going to find, or some jogger going down a trail. If you're just going to let Natalie Bollinger's friends harass me and then tell her that I'm the bad guy, that I only know about them because I'm stalking her. No. I didn't want anything to do with Natalie or Alicia when I left Virginia. And I didn't want anything to do with Maddie Boa after calling her and realizing that she didn't give a fuck what happened. She fucking hated me because a girl that she had a crush on fucking said something untrue. They didn't lie to Matty Boa and claim that I stalked them there, because Matty Boa set up the trip with me, and we've got the conversations between Natalie and Alicia and Maddie and I. At least the ones that were typed. The text messages. The Facebook Messenger. Well, most of them anyway. Without help turning it in, though, when I went in by myself, I was victimized. Same as here. Now, this stuff is federal. It absolutely is, but nobody's going to do anything about it, and nobody cares to help me to turn it in. They tell me to turn it in, and I get the runaround, and I get victimized, and I get threatened by law enforcement for trying to turn in law enforcement. Go fuck yourselves, 988. And any of you who send your friends or family to 988 instead of shutting your mouth and listening, you're a fucking piece of shit. And when they stick one in their face and pull the trigger, or they lay down in the bathtub and never wake up, you just remember it was because you couldn't shut the fuck up because you're a piece of shit. Sending them to 988, you fucking piece of fucking shit. Oh my God, what the hell? How do you deal with your loved ones? Instead of doing what a loved one is supposed to do, you send sources that say that it's not their job, that they don't have the funding, and then they take a whole shit ton of your money from Medicare and Medicaid because you're fucking stupid. And you don't care about anybody but you. Good to be rid of you. Thank you for coming to visit. Stay out of trouble or don't get caught. Calling 988 because your life is so much hell you want it to end. If you're homeless, that results in you losing all of your stuff because you're not going to have the money to get it out of towing. That results in your evidence being taken. You're trying to turn in people who are harming you. And you got to go to your friends and family for help. If your friends and family don't speak up about it, then you, the victim, because you're called mentally ill, aren't going to be heard. The other people involved in this preyed on that. Showed loud and clear while they were pretending to be my friends that they knew exactly what they were doing. There were, and showed they knew exactly how predatory they were being. And I'm sent to 988. 988. 988. You are your brother's keeper. And your sister's too. If you send them to 988, well, they're probably only going to have an increased chance of hopelessness. Because without you, 988 isn't going to listen. The cops aren't going to listen. Adult Protective Services won't even get called. The mandated reporter stuff, yeah, they're supposed to fucking help victims of abuse to turn it in. Sure. But they'll lie to us and say it's not their jobs, it's somebody else's unless we have a friend or family member there. "988 is sending me back to my other predators." That's what they kept doing. Here's other numbers to other numbers that you've already called that sent you to other numbers. All they care about is those two trick questions that allow them to harm you if you're honest about them. If somebody killed 3 of your kids and was coming after your wife, and you called suicide hotline because it was a fucking cop that did it, Yeah, good fucking luck. What are they going to do? Are you thinking about hurting yourself or others? Well, yeah, I'm thinking about hurting the blah, blah, blah. Insert blank. Boom, here comes the cops that you're afraid are going to kill you. Well, now he's got a big fucking smile on his face. You're going to fucking prison, bitch. You can't be honest about your fucking predators. Are you fucking kidding me? When these people bully you till you want your life to end, and you're sent to 988 because they bullied you until you want your life to end, and they ask you, are you thinking about harming yourself or others? Well, no, I'm, matter of fact, trying to stop the harm reduction, but you just simply won't do the fucking job. You just want to make excuses. You just want to push the victim to suicide. Only what you're supposed to say according to this script. They talk nice, but the script is the only thing they care about. That's the only thing any of them care about. Because if they say the things on the script, then they're absolved of their sins. But it's robotic, isn't it? I mean, of course, they don't sound like literal robots. But it's all very much what they're taught to do. When they say that they can't do their jobs, that you're literally sitting in jail or prison because they can't do their jobs because they have an overwhelming caseload. You try to turn in a police officer, they're supposed to do something right away. But if they can call you mentally ill, they can literally rape you and get away with it. How many mentally ill women did that officer in Colorado, in Adams County, how many did he rape in a 27-year career before he was able to do it to somebody who had a family that gave a shit? Yeah, sure, she was mentally ill, but her family cared and said, hey, she was fucking raped. And because they didn't make her do it alone, that officer is in prison now. What did you guys do? What does 988 do? They make you go back to your predators to turn in your predators so that they can tell you to go turn it into your other predators who are also predators because of the same thing. They all make a fucking profit off of not doing shit for the victim. They all make a profit off of not doing their jobs as a mandated reporter. Fuck victims' rights. They don't exist. 988 is going to push you to commit suicide if you're taking abuse. Unless you're a pretty white girl. Are you a pretty white girl?